And what about the guy that just wants to have a little bit more fitness and fun at a local enduro? Or
Hmm.
he's into his downhill and he's doing these weeks and he's like, oh, I need to, I feel like training a little bit better. I understand you are a coach, but you're not everyone's coach. Like you said, you can't
Yeah,
just take your word for it. You can't just
no,
listen to the podcast and be like, I heard I need to do 5x5s. But is there a way to just, I mean, that would be cool, is to help us all, me
oh,
included, to be
totally.
like, okay, you're not trying to win a world champs. I understand that. You might never hire a coach, but let's give them something to work with. Like, okay, well, when you have a week and you have 2 or 3 sessions, why don't you divide them up by this? I understand I've put you on the spot there. And
No, no.
the guy needs to get tested, number one, if he wants to be serious about it. He needs to allocate like we did. How much time do you actually have? And then you can build a program. But spitball with me. The
Yep.
aspiring weekend guy wants to have a little bit more fun or smoke his mates after doing some secret training. Those are the best. I've been busy
Yes.
working, and then you smoke the guy because you've been doing some training.
Of course, everyone loves secret training. We all have that one friend that never trains, but we know he
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
So very simple. Go to Google and type in critical power. You'll get a critical power test. There's also a number of critical power charts available on the internet. So this is crucial. It'll tell you how to do a critical power test. All it is a series of intervals. There'll be 3 intervals to do. One will be short, for instance, it might be 20 seconds. The next one might be 6 minutes, and the other one might be 12 minutes. From that, you'll get something called critical power. Then you you now have a sort of benchmark. So this is like in terms of training zones as well. This is for those that want to or have access to like a watt bike, a turbo trainer, or anything like that. This is for those guys. You'll have critical power, and then once again, type into Google, how do I work my zones based off critical power? Those zones are going to be far more accurate than FTP, so you're in a better place already. Then how would I structure my week? So there are 2 ways, very, very simply. I would go to the gym one day and do a full body. So it'd just be a full body gym session, working on multiple muscle groups. Um, I wouldn't go overly crazy with the exercise sort of order. I'd maybe have, somewhere like 5 to 6 exercises in there. I'd probably do something like, you can't argue with squats. Squats, everyone should do them. So you maybe have some squats in there, some bench press, do some split squats, pull ups, and then maybe some, bent over rows and glute bridges. Very, very simple. I'd keep the rep ranges. I'd probably keep the rep ranges at around about 8 to 12. And as far as sets go, I'd be doing sort of 4 sets for each of those. So basically 4 sets for each of those exercises, 12 reps. The reason I say that is you're going to get some strength sort of benefits from that, but you're going to get a muscular endurance effect rather than a sort of all-out strength session, if you like. And muscular endurance, as we know, is super important to riding. Then what I would do, if you're inclined to go to the gym, I would then spend, the next time I went to the gym, I would row for 25 minutes, run for 25 minutes, and jump on the bike for 25 minutes. That's 50 minutes, zone 2, steady state cardio. There's 2 sessions. And then if you do have the time and you've got the time for a third session through the week, the third session should be something like an EMOM, an AMRAP. So an EMOM is every minute on the minute, and AMRAP is as many rounds as possible. Once again, this is going to be focusing on muscular endurance. It's going to be high intensity. Your heart rate's going to get up. And I would just look up EMOM or AMRAP workouts. And then on the weekend, ride your bike. That is it. That means that you're getting one full body strength session. You're focusing on your aerobic system, and you're focusing on your muscular endurance and anaerobic system. And then when you go out and ride your bike, ultimately, if most people are riding trails, you are going to be working your aerobic system. You're going to get some time on the bike. You're going to sort of be conditioning the legs. That's how I would do it for pretty much everyday rider, the everyday hero, the everyday athlete. That's what I would do with them.
That's wicked. And then say you've got a little bit more time, you've got your own schedule, you can sneak out a few more rides. So in the week you can sneak to the gym, but you also, I got 2 3 rides then we could start working in some of these other interval sessions on the bikes.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, once again as well, like it's you could very easily structure your own training. In the deep winter months, like where I am now in Scotland, riding in December is going to be pretty grim, and riding in January is going to be pretty grim. In February, you can potentially start getting back out there. So maybe through the months of the dark winter months, maybe you spend 2 months just doing what I've just said there. You go to the gym 3 times a week, and you don't do any intervals here. You just go to the gym 3 times a week. One is a strength session, one's an aerobic session, one's an anaerobic session, and you ride your bike on the weekend if you can. If you can. And the aim of the game of the ride on the weekend is to keep your heart rate relatively low between that 130, 140 beats, other than when you come back down the hill, because, we all know your heart rate's going to get a bit higher. But as long as your average heart rate over the session is fine, perfect. Focus on that for 2 months. And then maybe after 2 months, you go, you know what, I've done this now for 2 months, feeling pretty good, and I want to start adding some intervals into my life. And then in terms of doing interval sessions, and say you do have a bit more time, VO2 max intervals. It's bang for buck, the best thing that you can do.
Yeah.
So, and once again, you really don't have to get like incredibly complicated here. Like, trust me, there are so many VO2 max workouts out there. It's unbelievable. There's Lisbon step downs, hard starts versus non-hard starts, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 40, 20s, 30, 30s. We can go crazy here. 3 minutes, 8 minutes, like there's a whole bunch. Keep it very, very simple. Actually, depending on discipline. If you're just riding trails, focus on 5 minutes on, 5 minutes off, times 5. Nice warm up, nice cool down. Do those twice a week. 8 weeks later, you'll be a different animal.
That's
if you're a downhill rider, do 40-20s or 30-30s.
Oh, those hurt.
Yeah, I know.